Good morning, everyone. We're going to have a look at your possible S3 options. You may or may not know that your option date's coming up soon, and you're going to have to look at all the subjects that you've done in S2 and decide which of those ones you're going to continue with on into S3. You may or may not know all the subjects that are involved in technical, but if you don't, I'm going to go through them nice and quickly. So if you stick with us for about 5 minutes, we'll just make sure that you've got the information that you need in order to make the best choices. What do we offer? We've got 3 main subjects that you can go on and do in S3, and those are graphic communication, design and manufacture, and practical woodwork. Now, I'm pretty certain if you've got older brothers or sisters or cousins that came to school, then they'll have told you all about the subjects that they did, and they might have told you something about these subjects if they did them. Some of that information might be good, some of it might not be so good. And what I hope to do today is just make sure that you've got the best possible information that we can give you, and then you can put all of that information together and make the best possible choice when it comes to your third year subjects. So firstly, it'd be a good idea to see what's involved in each of the subjects and to see how they're examined and how you can progress through beyond third year. The first one we're going to look at is graphic communication, and as you can see on the screen, there's lots and lots of different bits of graphic information on the screen. Everything from up in the top right, some hand sketched and rendered images, to down to the bottom left, some very complex computer designed images on software. And we do a whole range of things in graphic communication because that's what it's about, is getting information across using the minimum of words and the maximum of images. And those images or graphics could be anything from diagrams, photographs, charts, graphs, rendered pictures of the models that you make, hand-rendered sketches showing things in a realistic viewpoint. Tons and tons of different ways of getting information across. And you've done some of that in first and second year when you were using SketchUp and Inventor and Serif. And if you were doing perspective sketching in the classroom, that's the kind of thing that's involved in graphics. And it's a really creative subject that allows you to come up with your own ideas and produce an amazing array of different items. In our school, you can do graphic communication, obviously in third year and through into fourth year, where you can do National 4 and 5, but you can then do higher and advanced higher. And once you've done that, you can then go off to university or college, or you can get a job. And that graphic communication qualification will certainly help you in any of those paths. How does it work in S3? You'll get a series of mini projects, continuing your broad general education, but it will focus on the graphic side of it. And you'll build up your skills on using that software that you started using in first and second year. You'll also get better at the rendering and the sketching, and some people think that it's a bit like art and graphics. It's really not. We're not looking for great artists, we're just looking for creative people and those that can use their imagination a little bit to get the words out of the way and replace them with graphics. It will be examined at the end of fourth year, hopefully at National 5 for anyone that does it. And that National 5 qualification is 2/3 or 67% an exam, and the remaining third or 33% is an assignment that you do within the classroom. So there's lots of options within there. If you did choose graphic communication, the kind of careers that you could go on and do there's a whole list there. You could go into publishing, web page design, computer game designer, product and interior design, a cartographer. There's an interesting one. That's someone who puts together maps, make sure that we all know where we are. Animation, construction, a massive range of things where graphics is useful. And there's a big important statement down at the bottom. If you don't know what any of these are, then ask your technical teacher for the information. Next one we're going to go into is design and manufacture. Some people think that this means you're going to be in the workshop 100% of the time if you choose this, and it's important that you realise that that's not the case because it's design and manufacture. What does that mean though? That sounds a bit complicated. What we look at are how everyday products are thought of by their designers. Things ranging from, it could be anything, cars, bikes, toasters, mobile phone holders, even mobile phones themselves, I suppose. We're not expecting people to be able to make those things, but we're expecting you to learn a bit about how the designers came up with their ideas, and then how they refined their ideas, how they made them better, how did they test their ideas were good ideas, how did they find out which changes they had to make. So if you like that creative, problem-solving, imaginative thought process, then design and manufacture might be something that you want to do. And it gives you real scope to be unique and individual. As well as doing the design process, you'll also learn about how to make things. So you will be in the workshop and you'll learn different processes using all the materials and all the tools that are in the workshop. Some of those materials are plastics, some are wood, and some are metal. In our school, the course goes to National 4 and 5 in 4th year, but you can go on and do higher as well. And once you've got that higher, like any higher, it opens up doors for you to go and do things at university or college, or once again straight into employment. In S3, there's a series of mini projects, just like in graphics, where you'll get to design and manufacture your own projects and your own products. The teacher will be there to support and help you, but we will try and let you be as individual as you want to be, as imaginative and as creative. And by doing that, you'll get this knowledge, this understanding, and this confidence that we're looking for. How is it assessed? Well, at the end of 4th year, there would be an exam that's worth 45% of the marks. There would be a folio showing how you come up with your design, all the different design processes, all the thought processes that you went through, all the questions that you had to ask yourself. Maybe you did some product testing, asked other people about your design. Your folio would show all of that work. And then finally, 25% of your mark is you would go on and you would make that design in the workshop. What could you do after that? Once again, there's a big long list of things that you could do, ranging from architecture, product and interior design, transport and furniture design, in the construction and fabrication industry. You could even be a teacher of design and technology. And once again, on the right hand side, if you're not sure, if you don't know, and you have questions that need asked and answered, then speak to one of your teachers in technical. Speak to the principal teacher of technical. Speak to your PST teacher. But really your class teacher is the one that knows you best and will be able to answer any questions that you've got. Remember, it's always good to make decisions based on good information. Finally, we have practical woodwork. The practical woodwork is probably the most workshop based out of the three, well, certainly more than graphics, because in graphic communication there is no workshop, but in practical woodwork there is quite a lot of workshop time. And as you can see from the images around the side, it's got quite a lot of interesting aspects to it. Lots of different tools and processes, lots of different bits of machinery that you could use. As it says there, it will give you an experience of using some of the tools and equipment that you haven't used before. You'll be expected to develop your skills, to work to really quite precise measurements. We try and make sure that you, if we ask you to, for example, cut a piece of wood, that you're really, really accurate and that the joint size that you're given, you work incredibly hard to make sure that you produce exactly what's being asked of you. But part of that is a fun process because you build up your skills, you build up your confidence, and you build up your experience while doing it. As it says, it's mostly practical, but there is a little bit of theory, so you will be spending some time in the classroom. Practical woodwork is available in National 4 and 5 in the school. There's no higher in it. At this time, we don't know if there'll ever be a higher in it, but currently we don't offer a higher in it. But if you get your National 4 and 5 in practical woodwork, there are other options when you go to 5th and 6th year that you could do in our vocational training centre, or even going to college. And it's good for those who like working with their hands, and it builds what's called your manual dexterity. So believe it or not, if you were even thinking about being a dentist or a surgeon, the kind of skills that you learn in practical woodwork would actually be useful when you come to that, because if you think about it, surgeons and dentists have to be really skilled and really precise when using their hands, which is kind of what we'll teach you. What happens in S3? Well, we've got a series of mini projects like we've got with the other ones, and those will be there to build your skills in the woodworking process and also improve and increase your knowledge. There are two parts to the final assessment. One is an exam, which is worth 30% of your mark, and the remainder is 70% based on the model that you make. And remember, in this course, it's about your practical skills mainly. So if you can't really be bothered measuring things accurately and making sure that you do the best work you possibly can, then maybe this isn't the subject for you. However, if you really want to show your skills and impress people with your abilities and really make people stand back and gasp when they see the work that you make, then this is a great subject for you. What career options are there? Obviously things like joiners and carpenters, roofers, painters and decorators. But you could also go on and do some of the more kind of skilled ones like cabinet and furniture making, glaziers and plasterers, landscape architects, and once again, even a design and technology teacher. And as always, if you don't know what any of these are, then you need to ask the questions. 3 main subjects: graphic communication, design and manufacture, and practical woodwork. Those are your choices for going into S3. We'd love to see all of you coming back, but if you don't, then that's fine too. But remember, if you come back, choose the subject which best suits you. Don't choose it because your friend tells you to, because that's a bad way of making decisions.